Hey everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are continuing our trek through our collection. We are on episode 12, part 2 of the Seas. However, before we get started, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon if you want notification of future content. And as always, subscribe to all of our socials, please. And thank you.
Okay. So, no going backwards on this one. We're still on the sea. So we're going to start out with a little dexterity game that our counterpart Mark needs to play.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is called Cat Tower.
Yep. Just a little dexterity game with cards that, well, I picked this up at Goodwill a few years ago. You have cards that are folded up and set on the table, and then you have a dice you roll to determine how the next card is placed, whether you have to place the card upside down or you have to place two cards on it or whatever.
Your opponent has to place.
Yeah, whether your opponent has to place something out of your area. Cards are placed like so and just kind of stacked from there. Try and move that so you can actually see it. Yep. But just a cute little game.
This one you picked up at a thrift shop?
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a Goodwill find.
As the pink tag says, it's missing a
it was missing one card.
Pink catty fatty card, which it's not gonna.
These are basically when you roll a specific thing on the die, you place that down on top and then you keep going on top of it.
So it's not really gonna hurt the gameplay.
It's not gonna hurt gameplay. So we'll go ahead and hold on to it. But I don't know. We'll see. We have other Dex games that are a lot easier to play, but I like the theme. We'll see.
It's a cat. That's why you like the theme.
It's a popular theme, like it or not.
There's too many cat themes already.
Whatever. Anyhow,
next, getting away from cats, we will go to the wonderful world as Disney's Pixar Cars. This is basically Candyland in the Cars world.
It is essentially a Candyland game based on with a theme of racing.
Yeah. It's all nice little wooden box with a little slide sleeve on it, and you open it up and the box is nearly empty.
Pretty much, yeah. It is.
The board's really small.
Pretty much it. Playing pieces.
You're playing Candyland in the Cars world, but you're rolling the dice to see where you're moving to.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all it is.
The only good thing, the dice is actually screen printed. It's not stickers. I
thought that was those were stickers.
No, those are not stickers.
It looks like stickers.
I was oddly impressed with that. I don't know why, because I fully expected those to be stickers, but they're not. It's screen printed. Anyway, yeah, we're not going to hold on to this one.
We got rid of Candyland.
Yeah, it's just, again, too simplistic for what we're looking for that part of the collection. So this one will go in the sale pile.
We have CatRatBatSplat. This was ridiculous.
We played this one earlier this week when we had a power outage, so it was an easy one to play in the dark, well, with lanterns. But it was still, what kills me is that this has giant 4 dice. I had trouble picking these up and rolling them. How is a 3-year-old supposed to do that?
Like this? I mean,
yeah,
fit in my hand, but
your hand is slightly bigger than a 3-year-old's hand. So you roll the dice. Everybody has a certain number of cards with pictures on them, and the goal of the game is to get rid of all of your cards first. That's it. So if you rolled, say I rolled these dice here, if you can see these, 2 rats and a cat, I have to find one of my cards that has 2 rats and a cat on it. Doesn't matter what else is on it, and then yell out 2 rat, cat, and put it down on the stack. That's how the game is played. First person out wins. Again, very simplistic. Induced a lot of yelling.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to put this on the sale pile because I just don't see it coming off the shelf. And again, a little more simplistic than what I'm hoping for the kids collection. So, oh, I guess it's ages 6 and up. That makes a little more sense. But still. Yeah. So that was Rat Cat Bat Splat. And it is going on the sale pile.
Next is a game called Cash Out. And this box is upside down. This was...
All right, so this is another one we played during our little mini blackout. Lasted for several hours. This is one, theme-wise, was right up my alley. It is all about managing your portfolios and arranging your stock, and totally up my alley.
It was basically Lost Cities with a twist.
Yeah, it is an overly complicated version of Lost Cities. You are collecting your cards and putting your cards down in ascending order, either the same number or a higher number, and then at some point you close out your portfolio, and that closes. The only difference is that when you close your portfolio, if I close my blue portfolio, that closes everybody's. They're all linked together in that aspect.
You're the only one that can score it.
And then, yeah, you're the only one who gets to score that portfolio. So it's kind of a race to see who can score first, who can accumulate the most out of the 4 colored portfolios. There's only a total in this giant stack of cards, 16 cards that lets you cash out. And if you can't find the right color in that giant stack, then there's nothing you can do.
How many did this play?
4, I think. 2 to 4. I couldn't find anything online on BGG about this. Absolutely nothing.
2014 is when it came out by Simply Fun Games.
Yeah.
It didn't say how many players it is.
I think the rules say 4,
if
I'm not mistaken. But regardless, we have a copy of Lost Cities, the card game, in both collections. We have the board game in our collection, and I absolutely love it. This, I don't think I need the mechanism. When, like I said, it just feels like an overcomplicated version of Lost Cities to me. But theme-wise, I loved it. But yeah, I think this one's hitting the sale pile too.
Back to the Pixar version of Cars. We have Luigi's Tire Tower game. Another dexterity game of stacking tires with a little crane.
Yeah, I wish I had. Okay, the one dexterity game I know for sure we're keeping is unfortunately sitting at my office on the counter, and I was not able to get it this week. I wish I had that to compare to in this video, but I don't. It'll be in the next one. This guy, the components are nice. Are all these nice rubber tires, and it was actually easier than I thought it would be in terms of trying to stack it using this silly hook. Get out of here. The hook is caught in the bottom. But you're literally using this hook to pick the tires up and stack them, and you have to take turns.
Well, you don't just stick it on your hook either.
Well, no, you have to pick it up, which is easy, and stack it. How am I cheating?
You gotta hold it back.
Oh, whatever. So there. So he got to stack them that way. I had to stack them this way, but it was still easier than I thought.
But I could lean this ever so slightly each turn, and she finally lost because she knocked them all over.
I knocked them all over.
And they're good in rubber.
They are good in rubber. I do like that. That being said, do we hold on to it because of the theme? I don't think so. I think we have enough other dexterity games. And like I said, we have the one that's coming up in the next video that we really enjoy. I think this one is going to hit the sale pile too. Again, mostly because it's geared towards small children. And we have to pare those 200 games down to about 20 to 25. So this guy is hitting the sale pile too.
Yep. Next we have Castle Keep. This
one is all about building your castle. It is
it teaches colors and shape.
Yeah, it teaches colors and shapes, and each player is building, you're searching a stack of tiles for either wall tiles, tower tiles, or keep tiles. You have to place a wall or a tower first. The keep that you put in the middle must match one of your wall colors. Your wall colors all don't need to match. They just have to be similar to something next to them. So if I put down a circular red keep, then the walls on either side of my tower, I'm sorry, if I put down a circular red tower, then let's see if I can actually pull up a circular red tower if I get that lucky. No, here we go. We'll go with this one instead. So if I use this diamond yellow tower, I now have to find, for the walls on either side of it, I need to either find the diamond shaped walls or a yellow wall. Well, that's still a diamond. A yellow wall of any kind to go next to it. And then from there, I can.
No, you're right. It's
this one that's upside down. I was going to say, wait a minute, what's going on here? Okay. So from there, I have to find, now here, I either have to find a square tower or a yellow tower. Down here, I have to find either another diamond tower or a red tower. And then you build your walls this way. And then the way I'm built so far, my keep in the middle has to be either yellow or red. So each turn you draw a tile, you place a tile, you always have a couple in your hand to choose from. Or you can take one of your tiles, and if my opponent had a section of wall that was yellow, a flat yellow, I could take a tile out of my hand, not here. Let's redo this. This is sitting in front of me. So say my opponent has a blue squiggly wall, I could use this tile to destroy part of his castle. So I could take out basically all of his blue sections using this tile, as long as he's got one of these pieces in his keep. So it was cute. It teaches patterns and colors, and it's kind of a race, a little bit of vindictiveness, a little bit of take that in the game. I don't know. I know you don't particularly like this game. I thought it's okay. It sits in the other collection. It'll probably stay there for now. It does fit into the kids section, ages 8 and up, and I think it's a little more thought-provoking, a little more interaction than, say, I don't know, Candyland. So for now, it'll stay in the kids section over there, and we'll see. But that is Castle Keep.
Okay, next is Castellan. We have both the green and yellow and the blue and red sets, so we can now play a 4-player game.
We've only ever played it 2. I enjoyed it. I think it's an interesting card-driven building game.
But we've only played it twice.
We've only played it twice.
We've had it for a while.
We've had it for a while, yeah. So Castellan is basically a city building, castle building type of game. You are, like I said, it is card-driven. So each player has 2 small decks of cards split by tower and wall sections, if you can kind of see the different pieces there in the corner. So each turn you start out with 3 cards in your hand, 4 cards in your hand. I don't remember, but each turn you can play down as many cards as you want. However, you only get to draw 1 new card, and you have to pick which deck you're going to draw it from, whether you're drawing it from your wall deck or from your tower deck. And each one of these has symbols on it that those are the pieces you get to build with that round. So, and like I said, you can play as many as you want out of your hand, but the only way to get more than 1 card per round is to have a card with that symbol on it, which gives you an extra card the following round. So you're laying down the card that you want to build with, and then you are taking the pieces that it states, and you're building closed off sections of the castle. As you close sections off, then you're claiming them with your section, with your castle, your tower, your keep part, your keep piece. The end of the game is when everybody's out of cards. Then at the end of the game, you count up how many towers are in each of your
that surround your keep.
Yep, that surround your sections of claimed keep. So, and then that's your score. done. It's very interesting, very puzzly. I like it, but and we will hold on to it. One of these days, I want to play it 4-player. I think it'd be very interesting 4-player with 4 of us building onto it. So, but so yeah, if you can find it, great components. The card quality is phenomenal. So, but that is Jackson's.
Next, we have Castle Panic.
Are we seeing a theme yet here?
What?
All the castle games.
Oh, no, the last 3 have been castles.
Yep. All right. Castle Panic is, I mean, it's a classic.
Tile drawing game that you're placing tiles out to of monsters. You have cards, you're playing cards to take out the monsters. You're basically trying to defend your castle. So it's basically a castle defense game.
Yeah, it's a castle defense cooperative, which is great. It was actually, I feel like I say this a lot. It was one of our early cooperative games. We seem to collect a lot of cooperative games early on in our collection. But like I said, this is a classic. They just reprinted the big deluxe edition. We did not get that because we don't play it very often, but it's still fun when we do.
Well, we don't play it very often anymore.
We
used to play
it
like crazy when we first got it.
Yeah, it's nice because it plays 6 players, so it's got a higher player count, and it is cooperative. And the whole idea is there is. Yeah, like you said, you're putting tiles on the board. You're pulling out of a drawstring bag. You're rolling a die to see what section of the forest it's going to go into. And then each turn, after each person's turn, those monsters start moving forward. So you're trading cards, you're discarding cards to pull new cards to try to find the types of warriors you need in order to combat the monsters that are coming at you before they can get to the castle walls and start taking out your castle itself. You lose the game if all the castle pieces are gone. You win the game if you get all the monsters killed before the castle pieces are all gone. We actually have this in both collections. I have a copy here and in the other collection, and we're going to keep it in both. I can see it being pulled out with newer players that have not yet experienced that cooperative feel. So anyway, but yeah, it's Castle Panic.
This is Cathedral.
I was just waiting for that.
Should have a counter up there. Change out the box. So this is the game I always refer back to when they show me Foundations of Rome. It is basically it's not quite the same. It's just a 2-player game where you're
it's an area control.
It's an area control, so you're trying to get the most pieces down, and then you lose points for pieces you don't have down. And one with the most pieces in, with your points, wins the game.
Yeah, we bought this one. I don't even remember buying this.
This was before we actually got in the hobby. So this was we got this around the same time as we got like Hero Quest and Heroescape, and we bought this after coming back from Thanksgiving in St. Louis, and your aunt had a wooden version of it, and I liked it. We found it at Toys R Us, or no, I think it was actually Children's Palace.
Oh my god, yeah, that would be why I don't remember
it. A long time ago, if anybody remembers Children's Palace. But yeah, so this has been in the collection for a long time. I still like it, but it doesn't ever come off. We've played it for the first time probably in about 15-20 years. So
no, we've played it since then. But I love the pieces. They're not the wooden ones like my aunt's, but these are a nice heavy plastic, although the gray ones are starting to look a little weathered.
They have a patina on them.
They have yes, the gray ones have got a little weathered patina on them. But I love the pieces. The board is nice and thick, and yeah, it'll stay in our collection. It's a great 2-player strategy game. So that is Cathedral.
The next ones we have are the Century
series.
We have Spice Road, Eastern Wonders, and A New World.
Yep. So these ones are essentially, it's all resource management type of games.
Splendor type.
Yeah, Splendor type mechanism.
Changing cubes out for other cubes to score points.
Yep. Century Spice Road, it's all about the cards. You start with a certain number of cards. You are gaining new cards. It's kind of like a deck building aspect to it. You're gaining new cards throughout, and then you're using those cards to either change out or get new cubes. and then eventually trading those cubes in for the goods cards that you need in order to win the game. Century New Eastern Wonders adds a boat mechanism to it. So now you have a series of islands with ports. The goods cards that you're now trading in for are now little port tokens on the ports. So you have to move your boat around the islands, laying down trading posts that allow you to trade with that island. Essentially, again, gaining more, either harvesting for more goods, trading your goods up, trading them in, and then eventually making your way to each of the ports to trade in your goods for the port tokens. This one here, Eastern Wonder or New World, I'm sorry, and then New World adds a worker placement aspect to it, where you are physically taking what I think are the smallest meeples I have ever seen in my life.
There's no reason for them to be that
No,
small.
there is no reason whatsoever for them to be this small. There's plenty of room in this box for them to be a little bigger.
Plenty of room on the board too.
Yeah, agreed. But teeny tiny little meeples that you're placing 1, 2, or how many ever you need for per location. Some locations are different. Occasionally, if somebody else is there, you can boot them out and give them back their meeples by placing one more than they've already got there. So, and then in each of the locations on the New World, you are again either gaining resources, trading up resources, or converting resources. So, and then when you're ready, you put some of your meeples up in the top area where you can now claim the goods cards that you need in order to, again, win the game.
You can also get those tiles.
Yes, the extra scoring tiles. Yes.
That one, it gives a set collecting kind of thing.
It does, because all the cards have certain.
They each have, a lot of them have symbols on it that if you have, for each set of the backpack and the hammer, for each set of those, you score 3 points.
Right.
Or if you have a set of hammers, you can score 3 points. So you've got to be looking at the cards you're going to purchase to see if you have any of those. Does that help with your sets and scoring points?
Right.
Because if you don't, then because you can only have 3 of those tiles, and once you have
3 of them,
you don't get any more. So
you got to watch what you're doing.
You're stuck with what you get.
Yep. And one of the neat things on this whole series too is as they put out editions, they updated so that technically you've got 7 games here, because in Eastern New World there are rules to play it in a combined game with Spice Road. So if you've got just these 2, you've now got essentially 3 games. Then they brought out New World and they gave you rules to combine it with Spice Road, and rules to combine it with Eastern Wonders, and then rules to combine it with all 3. So this box gave you essentially 4 more games. So I thought that was really interesting, and we've done it that way a couple of times.
Yeah.
Once. I don't remember enough about it to even tell you what it was like, though.
Yeah, all 3 I wasn't really impressed. There's way too much going on and trying to get sets and get your ship to where you needed to go to get over here to be able to get cards. Yeah, it was a little much.
I wouldn't mind trying like the combination of just these 2 or these 2 or these 2 or something, but playing some of the different games that it offers. But honestly, I like the games individually, so we've just never done it. So, but anyway, that is the Century Spice or the Century series. Spice Road, Eastern Wonders, and A New World.
Okay, next we have Steel de Jaris winner, Cascadia.
Love this game. Absolutely love this game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this one is, gosh, a very pretty game when you get it out on the table, that's for sure.
This is the game that gets compared to Calico, and it's not really.
I don't see any.
Other than you're placing tiles next to different things to get
hexagon tiles, and that's pretty much it. All right, so
it's by the same makers. So,
all right, so this one it plays in 20 rounds. So you take out tiles depending on how many people are playing. It has your matching terrain types. You are matching
animal types.
Yep.
To score points.
Yes, you are matching terrain types. You're matching animal types. And terrain, that's the neat thing with this one, is terrain types don't have to match, but you're only helping yourself if you try to. So, because I could put this like so if I really, really wanted to, but I'm going to score more points if I do it that way. But you're putting out, all right. So each round, there are 4 terrain tiles out, 4 animal tiles out. The animal tiles do not necessarily match the terrain tiles, but you're choosing one of the 4 sets each round and then putting those into your landscape, and you're building your landscape as you go. Everybody starts with a set of 3 with all the different terrain types on it. So you're putting those out. You have to put the tile out no matter what. The animal token can only go out if you have a terrain type with that animal icon listed on it. Mm-hmm. So if I were to pull this salmon and I have no salmons anywhere on my board that I can put it, a place where I can put it, then that has to go back into the bag. Throughout the game, you are collecting little acorns. The acorns essentially, or pine cones, I'm sorry, the pine cones. I don't know why I always call these acorns. And I know that's not what they are, but you're collecting the pine cones. The pine cones essentially let you break the rules. It allows you to, instead of having to take one set of tile and animal, you can now mix and match. You can pull whatever tile you want and whatever animal you want. So you don't have to follow the rules about that.
But they're also worth a point at the end of the game if you haven't used them.
Yes, they are. We actually did a playthrough of this one with the couple from Co-opal of Nerds. So check that out. It was a fun game, fun playthrough of it. There's different scoring cards, so you can
score depending on the animal and what card it is.
Yeah,
they score differently, all of them.
There are a lot of different scoring options. So every game, you are essentially looking for different things, and the game changes up a little bit based on that. So I thought that's always interesting. And there's a family game too. We've never played the family card. Super fun game, super light and easy, but yet thinky at the same time. So lots of ways to explore this one, I think.
Gutter train.
Whatever.
Next up, we go from the Spearless Jarvis to thrift store shopping.
Basically, yeah.
This is, if you've ever seen the TV show Cash Cab, this is just like the Cash Cab. And that box is upside down. I was waiting
to see if you would notice.
Hey, she did that on purpose.
No, actually, I didn't.
So basically, this is the island of Manhattan with different spaces. You're rolling dice to see how far you go, and as soon as you stop, you're going to answer a question. If you get it right, you get more money per question. If you get it wrong, you get an X. If you get 3 X's before you get to your destination, you lose that
just like in
that
the
destination, and you lose all your money.
Yep.
There's red lights where if you land on a red light, you take a red light question for extra cash that you're not going to lose.
I think it only happened to me once. I literally.
But yeah, so it's basically a trivia game where you're moving your pieces around for the questions.
Correct.
And winning money for every question you get right.
Yep, just like the show. I thought the questions were actually relatively easy. I don't think we ran into
first
any
to
that were
50,000
hard.
one.
First
something like that.
To 1,000.
No.
Yeah, I think it was only 1,000. It wasn't 50,000. You were only getting 50 at a time.
No, you got 50 at the first. First question was 50. The next question was 100, and the third question was 250.
200. The stoplight was 250.
Okay.
But still, it was. I think the goal is only 1,000 or 2,000. It's fairly small.
I'm not sure if this show's still on.
I don't know.
I know we used to watch it every once in a while. But I haven't seen it on anywhere lately. It was an MTV show.
I thought it was a cute game. We played it again during our little blackout. I think right now we decided it would stay because the questions are fairly light. It stays in the other collection, yes. Because the questions are fairly light, they're not overly complex. And it is things that, I mean, it's pop culture. It wasn't any hard questions like this one here. Home to one of the world's leading chocolates, lamppost top with trademark kisses line the streets of what Pennsylvania town?
Hershey.
We've been there.
Yes.
Kids were little, but we've been there. So, but anyway, so it's gonna stay for now. But that is Cash Cab.
Okay. The next is Well, we'll start off with these two, and then we'll bring Big Brother out. This is not the same game.
No.
These are two different ones. This is the card game. This is the dice game. This is basically a roll and write before they called them roll and writes. That's why I call it a dice game, because you've got little. You've got your little.
You've got your map.
Your kingdom in front of you. You're rolling dice, and you get to put down.
Yeah.
Different areas, because different areas can only take the different number of dice, and when you get it filled off, you get a reward that you can use later.
Yeah,
kind of like most roll and writes, where you finish something off, you get something for it that you can use.
My only complaint with this one was that the sheet is so dark that just using a pencil made it really hard to see what I was doing when I was circling and crossing things out. So I feel like I needed a marker or like a Sharpie, but then you got to be real careful doing that. So, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's
there's
a fast, easy way to struggle through Castles of Burgundy.
But I think I put it on upside down, didn't I?
No,
I didn't. Okay. I liked it. I think it's a nice, like you said, it's a nice, easy way to do the full game, and it replicates the full game very nicely.
To a point, yeah.
To a point, yes. But I feel like you still get that puzzly satisfaction you get from the full game.
Now the card game, on the other hand, is a little bit more like it, because you have a stack of cards that you're playing. You're going to turn over 2 cards that has dice on it. Those are the dice you're going to be able to use to buy cards from the main thing. Put them in your little building area, to where now you got to have a card for that to build it and put it in your world. If you get 3 of one kind, you get a card, the awards card for being the first one to get 3 of them, and then you score points for each set you had. And
so it's interesting. It's just a lot of little bitty cards to keep them all separated and stuff. But yeah, I know I like this one too, don't get me wrong, but there are a ton of cards.
The cards are really little. They probably could have went with bigger cards,
and the footprint would have been huge though. So
the footprint of this one's already big.
Exactly. But anyway,
those are the Castles of Burgundy that I don't mind playing. Now the big
that was my favorite.
The Big Brother or Dad or whatever you want to call it. Castles of Burgundy. That's that. This is a Steffenfeld game, and it's like everybody's favorite Steffenfeld game, I guess, except for me.
I love this game. And that's why we held on to it. But I keep this version.
You didn't like the 10th anniversary. Neither did I.
I didn't care for the reprint with all the color. I saw a playthrough of it the other day, and on the playthrough it looked okay, but at the same time, I thought the design was a little too bold.
Now it has a newer one that's come out.
I saw the newer reprint, and it looked good. But again, we never play it. So
it's going to come out in a really big box that we don't really have a lot of room for.
I don't want to waste the room for it.
And we have pretty much all the expansions of this version. Why do we want to go and have to redo that with everything else?
Well, that too. But
unless you're really, really, really against the beige game.
We have all the expansions, but my favorite part is I bought these off of Etsy a while back. They're just little player board pieces that slide onto your player cards. Make sure I'm doing this right. Goes this way. That slide onto your pieces. If I can get it in there. There we go. I'm not going to shove this all the way in, but it will, once I put it fully in, lines up with all the hexes, so that when you put your hex tokens down,
it doesn't keep messing up. You're not having to continue to adjust.
Right. So, all right. So the way this one plays, if you've never played Castles of Burgundy, you've got a big board, middle of the table, with all sorts of tokens laying on it based on the number of players. And I think the board does a great job of telling you exactly which spots to fill in based on your number of players. You've got your time trackers here. You've put 5 goods up here in the corner on each of these, and then each round those 5 goods go here. Each turn of the game, you roll the dice, and one good goes out into one of the depots here. Each round you have 2 dice that you're rolling. You get to use those dice to either pick up tokens based on which depot they're next to. You can sell some of your goods based on the number of the die on the goods. You can place pieces that you've previously picked up and are sitting down here in your hold onto the board again based on the player numbers or the dice numbers that you're placing them. But the key there is that you have to place them down next to something you've already placed. So if all I've done is fill in this bottom corner of my board, I couldn't put an animal token up here. I'd have to build my way to it. So I love this game. I love the puzzly nature. I love the tactile feel of the tiles, although this older version, the tiles are very thin, and I'd forgotten how thin they were. But I don't know. This has always been one of my favorites. I think it is very justly deserved of one of the favorite Stefan Feld games, regardless of how many reprints it's had. So, but yeah, that is Castles of Burgundy and its little sisters.
Next game, Caylus. This has been touted as the inventor of worker placement.
The very first worker placement game. I don't know if that's true, but it's definitely right up there in the early days of worker placement.
It introduced supposedly worker placement to it, and this is a little bit different of worker placement. A lot of times you think of worker placement, you put your person out, you do your power. This one, you're putting all your workers out.
Yep.
Then you go back through in line of how it goes down the road. You can't really see it on the board. I'm sure Katie will put a picture of it up.
I will.
But you go down the board and do the actions. And basically your actions are getting cubes to build buildings, to help build the cathedral. And if you help build the cathedral,
trade cubes in for money or extra cubes in for gold or points or so the key here is that, again, everybo's putting their workers out one at a time, only one worker allowed per area other than the castle.
Right.
But the key is you're starting at the gate and you're working down. So if you've got all your plans worked out, but you don't have that purple cube, when your movement comes up, you need that purple cube because you're not going to get it till 3 more buildings later. You're out of luck.
Yeah.
So you got to time your when you need those resources and when you're getting those resources just right.
And then when you build a building that goes on, you place it on the road, like the next spot on the road and everything, you put your little house on it. Now, if somebody else goes to that area on their next, on some of the next rounds, you'll receive a victory point.
No, we enjoy this one. It doesn't get played as much as it used to, but we definitely do enjoy it, and it will stay in the collection.
And we have the better version looking box.
Yeah, we have the second version. The King of France is not sitting,
but that's
Caylus. The whole thing. So it's Caylus.
Next we have a roll and write Cartographers. This is the collector's edition with heroes involved in it. We just did a
review on it.
I said it's a roll and write where it's a polyomino placement kind of roll and write where cards come up. You got to draw one of those 2 symbols or just the one symbol and use this terrain to build it. And you're making different terrains to be able to score different scoring bonuses that are above it, which 2 of them score each round. But this also has monsters in it. If monsters come up, you give your pad to the next player to your right or to your left, and they get to draw the monster on anywhere you want. Heroes adds heroes.
Yes, this edition adds heroes.
Now heroes can fight the monsters, but the monsters in heroes are a little worse because in the base game of Cartographers, they just go on your board and then you just have you lose points if there's areas surrounded. Open.
Yeah.
This one things linger like the zombies. If there's any area open, they're going to grow.
Yeah. The zombies keep multiplying each round. The troll destroys things next to it each round, but until you take it out.
Yeah, but though, like I said, these have heroes as well, and the heroes, when they get put in, they will take anything out in their line of battle. So you just go through and X anything in that line. So there could be parts of the monsters where you're going to take out that part of monsters, and they won't get to score on that part.
Yep. But yeah, it's all card play, drawing on your map.
This is one of many. Yeah, this is one of many flipping right, rolling rights that we have, and I think we agreed though, it's not our favorite
It's
roll and
not our
write.
favorite, but I think of all the roll and writes we have, it's probably going to end up being one of the easiest to teach.
Yeah.
But it is not my favorite. I
Mhm.
prefer them, and I love polyomino. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my polyominoes, but I don't know. This one, maybe it's just that player interaction that makes it so popular for everybody else. I feel, why is somebody else messing with my board? I
Mhm.
don't want somebody else messing with my land. So maybe that's my problem. I don't know. But it is a good game. It is a fabulous roll and write with a lot of player interaction. Definitely one of the highest player interactions of any roll and write I've ever seen. And worth picking up. Now it does come in smaller boxes. You don't have to have this giant collector's box. But this is in our collection and will stay there. That is Cartographers Collector's Edition.
Yep. Next we have Caverna.
Caverna.
Caverna or
Caverna,
Caverna, or however you wish to
Caverna.
pronounce it.
Caverna.
This is Cave versus Cave. This is the 2-player game of Caverna, which is a lot lighter than
very
the
lighter,
base
very
game.
much faster too. Very much faster.
And this
a
one,
whole lot faster.
basically, all you're trying to do is excavate and build rooms for points.
Yep.
That's the entirety of the game.
So in this one, unlike the regular Caverna where you've got your fields and everything else, this is, you're literally just building
Your cave.
your
Yeah.
cave.
And you got
an
an action track that goes above it. There is a resource board that goes beside it.
Cave. Hold on, that's era 2. That's not, we've got both era 1 and era 2 in here. We've done videos on both, so you can certainly check them out. I thought that was way too small. You're building this cave, and then if you go into era 2 and you add this cave to it, if I can turn it correctly, and you're building both. But we did not. We've done both.
We have a video
It
for
looks
both.
like these should match up on the back.
You would think, but they don't.
But they don't. They don't line up right. Anyway, so yeah, you're just excavating and building your cave is all you're doing. There's no farming involved, none of that. Just managing your resources on the track next to your board, which is right there. And
the
building your
second
cave.
edition gives you another
An
track
extra
because
track,
there's
yeah.
more resources to
Yeah.
track in era 2.
And then the big thing with this is you've got this big, this is your action board. So there's tiles.
Era 2, it adds on.
Yep. So there are tiles that go onto each of these spaces, and each round you reveal a tile, and that gives you more actions, just like regular Caverna would reveal the cards.
And the little doors below tell you how many actions you get that round. And there's no feeding your people.
No, there's no feeding your people. There's no having to go create family members, because everybody gets that third dwarf at the exact same time when you enter the third section of history. And then you're basically taking the tiles. You're picking your actions here, and then taking the tiles off of your board here and putting them into a central supply, flipping them over from the rock side to the room side, and putting them into a central supply that everybody now has an option to build. So I like it. It's a faster version with that same cave building feeling that Caverna gives you. So I do like it. And like I said, we have a playthrough of it, so go check that out. This will stay in our collection. We do enjoy it as a nice, quick 2-player game. So yeah. That is
Cave versus Cave.
Cave versus Cave.
And to go with that, we actually have
Brandon.
pick it all the way up because we have
an insert
in there that it'll spill everything else everywhere.
So yep, but there's
Cave versus Cave.
Here, we'll do this.
This is my version.
There we go. But
this is the game, one of my first loves.
Yes.
Of a bigger, heavier game. This is basically Agricola without the cards, which is what I liked. You
are building your cave. Do you excavate in this one? I don't remember if you have tiles down on this one or not.
Because you got to excavate to make. You can make hallways or you can make rooms, and then you get the ruby mines in there.
So in this one, unlike unlike this one where the room tiles are sitting on your board upside down and you have to physically remove them, this one you have to excavate by putting tiles down of excavated rooms or pathways.
Before you, yeah, you have to
Before you can
excavate
build
the
on
area
top
before
of
you can
them.
build on top of
So
it.
it's kind of a multi-layer
Mhm.
tile placement. And the rooms are all laid out on a sideboard. You only get so many rounds. You start with 2 people. You have to create more family members, but you also have to feed your people. So the more
Mhm.
people you create, the more people you have to feed. But you also have land that you have to farm in order to feed your people. So this is just a much more in depth. It plays up to 6 players. We've never played it that many. The highest we've ever gone is 4, and that was a fairly, I don't want to say it was a long game, but it was lengthy. Good game.
Good game. This
Very
one's-
complex.
I think it's the first one that actually said it's a certain amount of time per player. It's 30 minutes per player.
Yeah.
The more you know the game, the less the
Yeah.
shorter that's going to make it.
We actually have the expansion for this one too, which adds new races. I didn't
That one
grab
we've
it.
played once,
Forgotten
and
Folk.
it was a really bad experience for me because I played the rock people,
Yeah.
and they're very hard to
Yeah.
maintain.
You would
to do
think they'd be
anything,
easy because they eat rock.
right?
They were not easy.
But they were extremely, because you started with very little stuff.
Yeah.
And
So-
it was like,
But it definitely gives an interesting twist to this one because not
Yes,
everybody's
'cause-
playing dwarves. You're
yeah.
playing all sorts of different mythical
and,
creatures, which
and
I thought was
each,
kind of
yeah,
cool.
each group actually, where am I from?
I don't know.
Actually has, like you said, player powers, and everybody gets a different power depending on
Yeah.
what you're playing. So that's Caverna.
Caverna. Central.
And last but not least is the Castles of Mad King Ludwig. We've trying to hold out with this game so long. We have the Kickstarter coming, both the base game and the colossal version
Yeah.
of it.
So we were hoping it's
We
supposed to be
hope-
here today.
Yeah, we
but
hope
we're
we'd be
not
able to
holding
play
our
it
breath.
before we got to it. And I've got a tracking number on it, but I haven't seen any movement of it. So
we're
we
giving
don't
up.
know. They said it's supposed to be here today, but I'm not holding my breath.
No,
But if it does show up, we'll edit this part out and bring in the
new version.
new version of it though. But for now, we have this. This has all the expansions in it. We played this again last night, and who won that game? Did I win that game, or did you win that game? No, she won that game. She came. I led by a long shot through the entire game, and then she came back and
Because of
beat
my
me
outdoor
by
room,
by
I
like
beat him.
10 points.
Yep,
And
I
I'm
beat
like,
him.
well, the other part is though too. I forgot about my in-game scoring cards until the game was 2/3 of the way over. I was like, oh, what was it? Oh, a little late to be working on those now.
All right. So the premise of this one is that you are architects working for the Mad King Ludwig,
Yep.
and he has tasked everybody with building a castle for him. And the castles are made out of peculiar shapes and in no rhyme or reason as far as the rooms, but each room scores something just a little differently if you place them next to other things. Like we kept getting entertainment rooms come up last night, and the entertainment rooms don't like being near the family rooms, the living rooms, or the bedrooms because they're noisy.
Which was all the other rooms that were
Which
coming
is
out.
all that was coming out. So, I mean, this is kind of like a sample castle here, but you've got everybody starts with their foyer here in the middle, and then
you
you're
build off of
building
it.
off of it, and you complete each room when all the doorways to that room are closed or connected. We rephrase that, when all the doorways have been connected into another room. If you just block off a doorway, you're never going to close that room.
Yeah.
But each type of room scores differently when you close it out. Some may give you $10,000 to spend on the next turn. Some may give you an extra turn.
Yep.
Some allow you to grab an extra endgame scoring card. So there's all sorts of different ways to score with it.
And once you get your tile, you have to place it then. You can't just like sit over the side and then build it all at once. So you have to build it as you go. That's why it's so insane, because you had to go to your piano room last night. You had to go through the meat locker.
Yep. Yes, you did.
You had to go outside into the meat locker, through the meat locker to the piano room.
Yep.
It was.
But it's what worked, and it closed off 2 rooms for me. So that's what I did. It was kind of weird. That is the Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Hopefully you'll never even see this section of it, and we'll just insert the new Kickstarter
The new
right
Kickstarter
here.
version, which we'll have to have a little extra room for.
If you're seeing this, that didn't happen, obviously. So But yeah, that is it for the C videos or the C. I wish.
Not all the C videos.
No,
We still have like
that is
4
it
more
for
to go,
this
5 more to go,
episode
or
of the
something like
C
that.
videos.
Yep.
So that is it for this episode. We still have I think we have exactly 100 C games left to go.
Which we have one set up on the table right now.
Ready to go. So we're going to go do that and start on the next one. So, all right. Well, I guess that's it.
Yep. Until then, we'll see you at the next one.